Welcome back to my channel Shubhangi Insights. So today we are going to start with Unit 2, which is Measures of Central Tendency, Dispersion and Skewness. So as we have already studied Chapter 1, which had the stuff about what is statistics, the collection of statistics, classification of statistics, and presentation of statistics. Now, the last part was analysis. So, when we talk about analysis of statistics, there are many tools which can be applied in order to get some information of the data. Let us see some of the few techniques using which we can analyze the data. Now, before getting into that, let's see what are the different characteristics of frequency distribution. So, in the chapter 1, we have already seen what was frequency distribution. It is nothing but the number of times an observation repeats again and again, right? So, based on that information or the table, we have different characteristics. First one is measures of central tendency. Second one, measures of dispersion. Third one, measures of skewness. So these are nothing but different characteristics of frequency distribution. In this, we will see how the data looks using the different methods. First one is central tendency. Central tendency is nothing but the central value of the entire set of observation. Second is dispersion. When we talk about dispersion, it is nothing but the variability happening from the central value. And the last one is skewness. How does the distribution look? Whether it is left skewed, right skewed, or you can also call this to be positively skewed or negatively skewed. We will see each one of them deep in detail, starting off with the first one. Let's start with the first one, measures of central tendency. Now, before getting into what are the different measures of central tendency, let us understand what is central tendency. Central tendency is defined as the tendency of the data to concentrate towards the central value of the distribution. It is also called as averages. So, what do we mean by that? Now, for example, we have a given set of data which includes 50, 60, 55, 65, 70, 60, 80. So, these are my observations. Now, suppose if you want to find the average of these observations and finding mean, so I'll simply add up all the numbers and divided by 7. So, this data is nothing but the number of coffees sold in a week. So, we have the per day number which is sold at a cafe on first day, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, and seventh day. So, we are taking the average of these. We are taking all these numbers, adding them up and dividing by the total number. So, here my average is out to be 62.86. So, this is nothing but the average of the number of coffees sold. So, here what do we understand by this? This is the central value, or this is one single number which is representing my entire set of observations. So, we can tell that on an average, 62.86 coffees are sold per day in a cafe. So, this is the first thing about the central tendency. We will be seeing what are the different measures using which we can calculate central tendency. Now, let us see what are the different measures of central tendency. So, basically, measures of centrality is divided on two parts, mathematical averages and positional averages. So, when we are talking about mathematical averages, there are three types. In this, we have arithmetic mean, we have geometric mean, and the last one is harmonic mean. So, these three lie under the category of mathematical averages. When we talk about positional averages, we have two categories, median and mode. So, these two lies under the category of positional averages. So, now let us look at each one of them in detail along with the questions and examples. So, let us see the first one, arithmetic mean. Arithmetic mean is nothing but set of observations is the sum divided by total number of observations. So when we and it is denoted by x bar. So when we're talking about arithmetic means is nothing but the average. So what are we doing in this case? We are taking the set of observations, adding them up and dividing by the total number, the numbers present in the observations. Now, when we're talking about the formula, there are basically three types of series on which formula is done. First one is raw data. Second is discrete data. And the third one is continuous data, or you can call this as grouped data. So, we will have different formulas for different set of data. Now, when we are talking about raw data, now first of all, how does the raw data look? So, if you have numbers 4, 5, 7, 2, 1, some random numbers. When your x is taking some random numbers, only a single series, that is called as raw data. So when we apply the raw data formula, when we apply the arithmetic mean formula for the raw data, it is nothing but x bar is equal to summation x by n. So in this case, x is nothing but set of observation and small n is nothing but total number of observation. So in this case, x1, x2, x3 are nothing but the numbers which I have taken. So this is the formula to be applied for raw data. Let us look at discrete data. So your data looks something like this. You have x numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you have frequencies attached to your x values. For example, 7, 2, 1, 5, 8. So this is nothing but the frequencies attached to your x values. So when you have two columns, x column and f column, that is called as discrete data. Now the formula for this is x bar is equal to sum of x by sum of f. Now in this case, we have different x values and we have different f values. So multiplying them together and adding them up divided by total number of frequencies. In this case, we just had the individual series, so we just counted them and to the number. But when we're talking about frequency, we need to add those frequencies and take them in the denominator. So here also, your f is nothing but frequency, or you can also call this formula as summation fx by capital N. Either sum of f or capital N, both means the same. So capital N is nothing but sum of frequency. Now when we are talking about continuous data, now how does the data look? Here we have class intervals. For example, 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. And we have frequencies attached to them. 4, 7, 1, 2. So, when we have class interval data along with the frequencies, that is called as continuous data or group data. The formula looks same as your discrete data. X bar is equal to sum of fx by sum of f, or you can also call this as sum of fx by capital N. Again, same thing. F is nothing but your frequency and capital L is nothing but sum of frequency. So this is nothing but the different formulas which we can apply for arithmetic mean. Now depending on what questions provided to us, if it is based on raw data, we need to apply the first formula. If it is based on discrete data, we need to apply this formula. And if it is based on continuous data, we need to apply this formula. So look at the data given in the question carefully in order to apply the formula. Because if wrong formula is applied for the wrong data, you will not get any marks in that particular case. So be very careful and identify your data carefully. Let us look at the different problems in order to solve arithmetic mean. So the first question is, calculate mean for the following data of height for set of students. So these are the heights provided to us. Now by looking at the data, first we need to identify which kind of data is given to us. Raw data, discrete data or continuous data. By looking at the data, we have single series or random numbers given to us. So by that we identify that this is raw data. Now, the formula for raw data is x bar is equal to summation x by n. So since we have single series of data, so these are nothing but your x values. Height is nothing but your x, and x1, x2, x3 are nothing but the observations given to us in the data or question. And now the formula is x bar is equal to summation x by n. So we simply need to add up all the values starting from 61, 62 and so on up to 64 and divide by the total number, which is nothing but 14. Now the total which comes up is 885 by 14 and the value is 63.2. So this is the value which we get for the given set of data. So in this we simply need to add up all the value. This is nothing but sum of observations and n is nothing but total number of observation, which is nothing but 40. By counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, we have written down here 40. By then simply dividing we get the answer. Thus you can do it using the calculators. Now once you get the answer, you simply need to write the conclusion, one liner conclusion telling that the mean for the following data is 63.2. This is really very important when it comes to exams. You need to give the conclusion because even this carries some marks. So if a question is asked to you and they provide some data, first you need to identify which data they have asked. Raw, discrete, continuous. Now based on that, what are they asking you to find? They are asking us to find the mean. So in this case, mean is nothing but your arithmetic mean. So we have calculated the arithmetic mean for your raw data, and we have applied the formula and got the solution. Once you get the solution, please mention to that the conclusion. Let's see the second question. Find the mean for the following frequency distribution. X values are given to us, F values are given to us. Now, again by looking at the question, we need to identify which data is given to us. So we had X values along with the F values. So we have already discussed when you have X values along with the frequency values, that is nothing but your discrete data. So first make a note of this discrete data. Now formula for discrete data is nothing but X bar is equal to summation Fx upon summation F. Now for this, what we need to do? In order to apply the formula, we need to multiply frequency into X values and take the sum of that and divide by the total frequency. So data is given to us in this form. We will write it in columns. X values 19, 21, 23, 25, 27, 29 and 31. Frequencies 13, 15, 16, 18, 16, 15 and 30. So the next column here, in order to apply the formula, we need to multiply frequency into X. So these values will be multiplied with the X values. So F into X. So what are the values for that? We have 247, 315, 368, 450, 432, 435 and 403. Zero six. Okay. Now, since we need to find the sum of frequency into x, I have taken f into x column and added them up and got the value as 2650. Then we need sum of frequency. We have added up all the frequency and the sum is 106. Now let us apply these values in a formula. So x bar is equal to 2650 divided by 106. So the answer is 25. So x value or x bar is 25. Now, in this case, simply we just saw the data. X values were given along with the F values. So we understood this is nothing but discrete data. Then we applied the formula for discrete data, which is summation fx by f. Multiplying the columns of f and x, we get these values and added them up and has substituted in the formula. So in the end, don't forget to give the conclusion. The mean for the following. The mean for the following frequency distribution is 25. So this is how we get the answer for discrete data. Let's see the next question. Find the mean for the following distribution. Marks are given to us and number of students are given to us. So in this case, marks is in the form of group or class intervals. 10 to 25, 25 to 40 and so on up to 80 to 100. The number of students are given to us, which is nothing but the frequency. So by looking at the data, we identify this as continuous data. The formula for continuous data is summation fx upon summation f. Now we will write down in columns marks, or we can call them as class intervals. (10 to 25, 25 to 40, 40 to 55, 55 to 70, 75 to 85 and 85 to 100. The f values are 6, 50, 44, 26, 3 and 1. So these are our frequency values. Now, in order to apply the formula, we need to multiply f into x and then take the sum of that. Now, in data, we have f values, we don't have x values. Now, how are we going to get the x values in case of class interval data? So, as we have already seen in the first chapter, midpoint, that is nothing but the middle value of the class interval. So, here we have the numbers from 10 to 25. So, the middle value can be done using the midpoint formula. So, the midpoint formula is upper class limit plus lower class limit upon 2. So, in this case, we have 10 to 25. So, here it will be 10 plus 25 upon 2, which is 35 upon 2, and that is 17.5. So, our first x value is going to be 17.5. Next, it is 32.5. Next, 47.5, 62.5, 77.5, 92.5. So these are our x values. Now, once we get the x values using the midpoint formula, we can apply the formula which is f into x. So we will simply multiply these f values along with the x values and get the answers, which are 105, 1625, 2090, 1625, 232.5, 92.5, 5770, and this is 130. So, in this case, we need to take the sum of frequency into x. So, we have multiplied all the values and taken the sum, which is 5770, and divided by total frequency, which is nothing but 130. We will be applying this in the formula 5770 by 130, and the answer is 44.38. So, this is the value of x bar. So, this is how we solve the question for continuous data. And in the end, don't forget to mention the conclusion. The mean for the following distribution is 44.38.